Good morning. Welcome to another morning edition of Mornings with Stanley. I hear Lucy she got out of her cage. She's heading in here. You know, I got Lucy shaved last week, shaved down. So it's like she's a whole new dog. She just looks like a whole new dog. But I changed her dog food. She's just been really happy last few days. Maybe it's just the dog food. She's getting better food that she likes. Though she prefers I only feed them dry food in the morning, and not very much. And she hardly ever eats her food in the morning, so I ended up adding more dry food, and then the wet food at night. She's eating every bit. So maybe she was just hungry and she just wanted something better, that tasted better. You know, I used to give her, back when Opie was still alive, I gave them both dry and canned food, and then when he died, I thought, well, I need to take better care of her and give her the dry food. And I think she just wasn't liking it, but now she feels like, hey, I kept taking things away from her. Like I got a new bed, and then she wasn't able to jump on the bed anymore. Then I got new furniture, and she doesn't feel like it's like she can jump on it. I got a new dog, and it took her being the only dog away after only 4 months. And not only did I get another dog, I got Stanley. And Stanley's a wild dog, and he just wants to play. And she's like, oh, you should have come into my life 10 years ago, but I don't want to play anymore. I heard all the time. Anyway, now she's leaving the room. She's had enough. I don't know if it's me or Stanley she's tired of, but she seems happier, and that makes me happy. I mean, yesterday I came home for lunch, and Stanley was inside, and she was outside, which often is the case. And she just was almost jumping up and down. I mean, she hadn't been that happy to see me in a long time. So, Lucy, she's eating Stanley's food. No, Lucy, go eat your own food. And she's going, as soon as you close that door, I'm going to do what I want. Good, Lucy. Okay. Let's get this fella out of the room. And get to yep, she's looking at that food, looking at me close the door. Let's see if she's gonna go and Lucy! No! Lucy. I might have to pause this for just a minute. Okay, I'm back. She was eating his food, so I had to take it away. I don't want her to gain all her weight back that she lost. Stanley's right out there, and he's like, I took his food away too. I gave her a little bit more of her food. And to tell you the truth, I'm not 100% sure that she's the one who ate her food. It could have been Stanley out. I don't think so, though. He usually doesn't eat when I'm not around. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not around when I'm not around. So I really don't know. Here is our reading for today. We're going back to 1 John. Chapter 3, verses 2 and 3. Beloved, we are God's children now. What we will be has not yet been revealed. What we do know is this: when he is revealed, we will be like him, for we will see him as he is. And all who have this hope in him purify themselves just as he is pure. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. And now, our reading from Christian Maturity. Thursday of week 51, our second to last week in this book. Changed into his likeness. We come now to the next step, the fifth step. The change begins, our beings changed to his likeness. Sometimes the change is gradual, sometimes sudden. But whether gradual or sudden, it is change. And that is the important thing, not where you are, but the direction in which you are headed. You are under the blessed law of change. The old dead ends are gone. You're on the way, the capital W way. And on it with both feet, When someone asked a boy where he was from, he answered, "I came from Elkhart." You can get anywhere from Elkhart. Your starting point may be insignificant. Your destination is significant and gives you significance. I belong to what I'm after and not to what I've left. This is effortless change. You don't change by tugging and pulling at your bootstraps. That doesn't change you. It only exhausts you. The flower is changed effortlessly by gazing at the sun. It keeps the channels open, and the sun does the rest. Christianity is maturity by gazing. Look to him and be radiant. Moses looked into the face of God, and his face shone. He had to put a veil over it. But we look into the face of God veiled in human flesh, and that is accommodated glory. Glory tempered, so we can look at it without being blinded. Electricity of high voltage is run through transformers so we can use it for ordinary purposes. Jesus is a transformer that makes the power and grace of God available for ordinary mortals to live by. Note the passive voice, our being changed. That makes all our goodness rooted in goodness, capital G goodness, all our maturities, gifts of grace. That puts humility and gratitude at the heart of our maturity. All other efforts at maturity result in pride of attainment. This ends in humility of obtainment. Hence, it is real maturity. Maturity with pride at its center is basic immaturity. Hence, there can be no real maturity except the maturity which comes through grace. Maturity by consent and cooperation is a sound maturity, open to all, and with no strain and stress in it. It is relaxed, receptive maturity, hence fun. This is life, and more life for a gaze. So, all we need to do is surrender. And Jones wrote a book about surrender called Victory Through Surrender. I don't know if that one might have been republished already. There's quite a few that have been. There's still a few that have not. But anyway, you can go, if you're interested in any other books by E. Stanley Jones, you can of course go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, but the E. Stanley Jones Foundation has a store there as well, and you can buy it directly from them. And there are other books on there as well, not just books by him. There's, I think, a book about him, a biography, and then seems like there's he always talks about Mary in his book. There's always a quotation mark around Mary, but there is a woman actually named Mary who is a good friend of Jones, and there's a book about her as well. But here's our prayer for today. Oh, Jesus, my Lord, I thank you that my responsibility is to look at you with unveiled face and to cooperate with what I see. It is your responsibility to change me. That keeps my eyes on you instead of me, and how I grow amazingly. Amen. I think I preach a lot more of you've got to do all this work. When the basic work we have to do is surrender. And I don't think we who are people who value raising yourself up by bootstraps find it very difficult to not be working for salvation. We claim we're a grace-based and not a works-based salvation, but we often say the words, but we then make it into a workspace. And so that's why we're so judgmental of other people who are not like us, who show up at our, we want people like us to worship with us, We're not often ready to welcome. And that's not exactly true. I mean, I think that we're grace. We welcome people in, but we're not welcoming them completely in, They're welcome to be with us. They're welcome to worship with us. We're glad to get to know them, but they're not quite us sometimes. And tearing down that wall is something God can do for us. And I think we stress out about we have to do it ourselves, but we have to allow God to do it as well. Here's our affirmation for the day. I do not have to construct and complete, only to cooperate. Jesus is Lord.